Well, good afternoon. My name is Mark Chu-Lin. I'd like to welcome you all to the Avengers Initiative panel, Fans Assemble. We hope that you all have been enjoying your Comic-Con experience here this weekend. So I'd like to begin off by kind of sharing a little bit of who we are and what we try and do. So I'm a moderator for this discussion, but I'm also an officer. I'm what's called the head commanding officer or a club prisoner group leader. And we're a national Marvel volunteering group. Our goal is to dress in the Marvel outfits and hopefully share that with others through community service, through media events like Comic-Con, and to enjoy in other activities like I'm sure some of us have seen some of the movies that have come out in the last several years. What I'd like to begin is kind of share some information about us. So here is our national information, which includes our website, which has information about membership, what we do as an organization. We have an Instagram account which shares some of our activities. We also have a Facebook page to share our interest in Marvel fandom along with some of the activities that we do nationally. One of our chapters is our Texas chapter called the Lone Star Avengers. While they're all part of Texas, the folks out there primarily work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Their Instagram and Facebook information is there. I'd now like to turn over the discussion to some of my fellow officers. Jennifer, if you would, please go and introduce yourself, what you do, and where you hail from, please.
Hello, my name is Jennifer, and I am the commanding officer for the West Coast Avengers, which is the California chapter. We cover all of California, and so southern, northern, we're working on rebuilding our Northern California chapter, actually. And yeah, I'm from Southern California, so I'm more active down here in Southern California. And yeah, I'm excited to be here to talk about what we do as a group and to get to see Kevin, who come over from Hawaii, so that's always an exciting time for me too. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And segueing that, Kevin, please introduce yourself, what you do for the group, and where you hail from, please.
Well, my cosplay name is Kato Trooper, so that's what I go by when I'm ever in costume. Currently I'm the head executive officer for Avengers Initiative. Formerly, I was the commanding officer for Avengers Mid-Pacific, which is a chapter in Hawaii, which I founded. And it was just another addition to the numerous states that we're going to be including in Avengers Initiative nationally.
Thanks for sharing. So I'd like to talk about the basis of our group. So I'm not only just a spokesperson, but I'm also a participant. So for myself, I'll just at least say I've been costuming, cosplaying for over 20 years. I've belonged to a bunch of various groups, various franchises. But when I saw on social media that there was a group that did Marvel cosplay, so as a kid I was interested in the comic books. We just got our first few MC movies out there, like, oh wow, there's a group in here that does that kind of genre and franchise. In my case, I kind of looked at characters that I liked, like Captain America, War Machine. In my case, I researched this information through social media, internet, and Facebook pages that kind of discuss that stuff. Then I picked outfits like I said, mentioned Captain America, War Machine, but as the franchise has grown, whether it be the movies, the comic books, and other media that's come out from Marvel, I've gravitated to other characters that we see in properties like Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Wong, and just kind of latched onto that. But I'd like to have the rest of my peers share kind of how they got into Marvel cosplay and what they picked. So Jennifer, let me turn it over to you, kind of what got you into this.
So I started seriously cosplaying when I was about 42 years old. My daughter was really the one who got me into cosplay. She started cosplaying, I don't know, some anime. I'd have to ask her. She looked really cute, that's all I really know. And she just loved doing it. She was having so much fun. And back in a year that I won't name, I had cosplayed as Dana Scully from the X-Files, which I'm going to be bringing back actually. So I was like, man, she's having fun. Wait a minute, I'm the mom, I'm the grown-up, I have the money. And there was a little show on TV called Agent Carter, and I was going through some stuff, and I was watching this episode, and she said, I know my value. Anybody else's opinion doesn't really matter. And I said, yeah. So regardless of what some people in my life thought about me at my age, my size, and whatever, of me cosplaying and going to conventions and doing these things, I decided that it didn't matter what they thought because I was doing it for me, and then now I'm doing it for these little kids that we visit in the hospital, for the kids we see out on the con floor, to hang out with my friends, and just to live my life. I'm not living my life for anyone else. I'm living my life for me. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. So primarily I cosplay as Peggy Carter. I also, this week, 2 people in this room got me to cosplay as Barbie, which never in a million years did I think that would happen, but I had a best time. So, and I got to wield a tennis racket. Today I also cosplayed as Sonia Fallsworth, complete with Nick Owl's Fury in my arms. And yeah, I keep finding more and more characters. Many of them are villains, and I don't know how worried I am about that. Many of them are also played by Catherine Hahn, which I completely am fine with. So it's just been something that's opened up a whole new world to me, a world of getting to kind of relive my childhood and make believe, but also a world of new people that have come into my life that I don't know that I could do without anymore, and a world of giving back to others and serving. So yeah, that's how I got started in cosplay, and that's where it's brought me to here.
Thank you, Kevin. Let's kind of turn to you, how you got into this little activity.
Let's see, I always loved Halloween. That was my favorite time of the year. It didn't really matter about Christmas unless I got a Halloween costume. But yeah, I was seriously into Halloween, and from just the fact of joining a national franchise, I was able to find out about a lot of these conventions, and I just went crazy after that. Yeah, so I got over 100 costumes that I just pick from, and I just love doing charities, and so just some of those right there. It's just a few of them right there, but it's just so much fun to give back to the community, and that was kind of like one of the more important things to do in the cosplay. One fact is that you could cosplay all year round and have Halloween all year round, but another was to just see the child's eyes light up and put a smile on their faces, and it's something that is priceless.
Thank you. So as you've heard from my fellow officers and myself, we're very passionate about service. As a group that's named after an imaginary superhero group, we definitely want to hopefully try and carry out those acts of service in real life. So one of the organizations, all 3 of our chapters, Texas, California, and what I believe in, is definitely serving an organization like Shriners Hospital for Children. We definitely want to hopefully be of service to kids who can enjoy an experience like here at Comic-Con. And one of our representatives that we've had the pleasure of working with for many years is Natalie. Natalie, if you could please introduce yourself, what you do, and a little bit about the Shriners location you're a part of.
Hello everybody, my name is Natalie Chicas. I'm a certified child life specialist at Shriners Children Southern California. We're located in Pasadena, and we're one of 22 locations, including one in Canada and Mexico. Our facility specifically is an outpatient clinic that focuses on orthopedic care, burn, reconstruction, cleft lip and palate, and we also do prosthetic and orthotics in our facility as well. We also provide rehabilitation service like physical therapy and occupational therapy as well. I've been working with Mark for like 8 or 9 years now, so for a really long time. And pretty much my role at the hospital is to provide provide psychosocial support for patients, so preparing them for surgery or any type of medical experience that they're going to have at the hospital or at the medical center. And part of the group that comes to Shriners, Marvel Initiative is just one part of the position to where we get to bring the fun entertainment to the patients so they can have a good time when they're there.
Well, thank you. So I'd kind of like to get some additional information to share with our audience. You kind of questioned it. Could you share, first of all, one of our audience, what is child life?
Yeah, so certified child life specialists, we pretty much work in medical settings. We do work in untraditional settings some child life specialists work in untraditional settings, but mostly in hospitals, and we work with patients from anywhere from the age of 0, so if they're like in a NICU setting, all the way until they're teenagers, but we also work with families through different various situations, again, like preparing or educating patients for certain medical procedures to, for example, like end of life as well, or anything in between. And it's not just the patient, but it's the whole family, siblings, parents, grandparents. And so we just make sure that the stress and anxiety is lessened when they're experiencing hospitalization.
Thank you. So Natalie, as you graciously mentioned, we met several years ago. When I reached out to you and kind of shared some information, what was your first impression of who we are?
Yeah, for me it was really interesting because we've never had cosplayers come to the hospital before. At that point we were a hospital before we transitioned to our medical center, but when I thought about it, I was like, I don't know, because it's people dressed in costumes, and is it going to scare the kids? Is it going to be a little bit different? So yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I was not sure what to expect. And then I met with Mark, like I mentioned, like about 8-9 years ago, and he brought photos, and I think at that point they had already worked with our Northern California Shriners, and so that gave me a lot of comfort. And then so I was like, you guys worked with them before? So we called them, and then everything just ended up working there. And then we've done, I don't know, countless of events with the group already. So yeah, I was kind of interested in the beginning, but then it was just really cool to see all the costumes come, and the patients obviously were very like in awe, and like, what are all these cosplayers coming into the facility? But it's not just for the patients, but the staff and volunteers, everybody just gets a really good experience out of it, and it just definitely changes the mood for the whole day when we have volunteers coming to the facility like that.
Thank you. To help educate our office, given that nature what Shriners deals with, what's expected or what's the check to deal with volunteers? I mean, can you show up? Is there an application process? I mean, when you hopefully bring in people to help out, what's expected of them, and then in your kind of setting?
Yeah, it depends. We do have like our traditional volunteers that come through the hospital, kind of our reoccurring volunteers that are here that are at the facility every day or once a week. But for group visits like this, we usually try to work with a point of contact to make sure that the individuals coming to the facility have been cleared with like certain immunizations, especially when it's flu season, or for example, now that the COVID vaccine is out, we have to make sure that we have to check all of those vaccines as well. So we try to work with one person to make sure that all of that is cleared, and we trust that the organization is vetting the volunteers before they come to the facility as well.
Thank you. So we had a chance to help out with a special event. You asked our help for what's called National Superhero Day. Can you kind of share a little bit about that event, kind of what happened on that day, please?
So we were really lucky enough to receive a nice donation. I believe it was $35,000 from Baskin-Robbins for our child life department. So we were very happy. But we ended up thinking that it would be such a good thing to do it on the same day as National Superhero Day. So we combined the events, and so we had cosplayers there, we had ice cream and ice cream cake, like who does not love ice cream and ice cream cake? And we had the patients doing certain activities as well, like superhero masks and just taking tons of pictures. We also had another organization there, also like drawing for the patients and doing like character drawings for them. And basically, anybody who was there that day was able to take pictures and talk to the superheroes. So it was a really, really great event that we had.
Well, thank you for having us and kind of sharing what kind of happened. So Jennifer, as one of our participants who got to do this, what was your impression of what we had a chance to do?
So they have this really cool wall in the lobby. No. We did get a little distracted by this wall. You touch it and the stuff moves, you can play soccer. There's some really great video on our Instagram. It was a really cool event. So the young man in the front in the wheelchair was the ambassador for that day. This kid wouldn't sit still for a picture. We were like, he was great. Everybody, it was so much fun. The Baskin-Robbins representatives were so happy to be there. It was a really crazy event. There was so much going on, but yeah, it was a great day. It was a lot of fun to be there. It was a great event, great donation from Baskin-Robbins. And it was great for us to be there and support it, and to see these superheroes, you know, the little boy and all the other kids that were there, and so happy to see us. And some of them were we had to get down on their level a couple of times and take masks off and things, you know, like the superhero mask, not the medical mask. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a great day, and we did get ice cream cake as well. So superheroes also like ice cream cake, and we had a great turnout for that one too. The picture a little sideways for me, but oh yeah, that was a great day. It was a fun event to support, and we love going out to Shriners. It's always a good time to go see those kids. And the staff, they're so supportive and wonderful, and they are just as excited to see us as we are to see them.
Well, thank you. So Kevin, why you folks support Shriners? Can you kind of share with our audience what Avengers Mid-Pacific, what you guys try and do out in the Shriners, that location, what you guys do out there to help out?
Well, they actually had, you know, Hawaii is very hot, right? But they had a snow day where they dumped a whole bunch of ice in a big mound, and kids were just eating it up and having a lot of fun in that. And we were invited to be there as superheroes and have the support of the staff to just go out and, you know, put smiles on everybody's faces. And it was such a big success. I love that. And then, you know, we've also done it with other hospitals. Some was like at Tripler, they have a neonatal ICU, and that was pretty good too. A lot of the attendees got into it and tried to dress up too, and everybody just had a lot of fun doing that. Kapiolani Children's Hospital was another one that we did. So, I mean, altogether, the bottom line is a lot of these patients can't come out to see you, and so it's good that you do something better than yourself and just make the total picture a lot better for everybody.
Thank you. So I'd like to introduce our next service speaker. Chantel, if you would, please introduce yourself, what you do, and the pediatric facility that you're associated with, please.
Yes, so my name is Chantel Rothenburger, and my background is as a certified child life specialist and injury prevention coordinator under the Charisse Marie Lallier Child Life Program at MemorialCare Miller Children's and Women's Hospital of Long Beach. So as opposed to Shriners, we are actually a pediatric facility that houses our outpatient specialty units like Shriners, but also we have our internal units as well. So we have our general pediatrics, our rehabilitative units, we have our ICUs, as well as our hematology and oncology. So a lot of our patients, while they're at their stay with us, they may be there for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, even a couple of months. So we really provide that extended amount of care for them as well. And the unique thing about MemorialCare Long Beach is that we are actually connected to the Long Beach Medical Center, which is our adult treatment facility. So we have the duality as specialists to not only work with our pediatric patients who are hospitalized, but also work with the patients of the adult side and their children who need a little comfort and help and support as they undergo trying to see a family member who's hospitalized as well.
Well, thank you. So one of our first events that we got to do is help out with Super Sibling, and unfortunately with the pandemic, we kind of had to adapt and do some virtually storytelling with you all. We are very much looking forward to some in-person events the next couple of weeks. Could you share with our audience, I guess, what's kind of on the schedule in August? Hopefully we can be, hopefully help you guys out with, please.
Of course. So yes, we had our Super Sibling event back in 2019. I was there as well. And then throughout the pandemic, we pivoted and we actually adapted some virtual visits with your team. So that was phenomenal. But now upcoming in August, we have our beach day, our cardiac and NICU reunions, which has been on hiatus since the pandemic, and we're finally bringing it back. So very excited to really have the Avengers Initiative come back and interact with our patients again and have that opportunity to know that, support doesn't end at discharge, right? That we bring back our community, we bring back our patients an opportunity to re-engage with those doctors, those nurses that they build strong relationships with, and then have an opportunity for them to reconnect with your organization as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity that we have on August, I believe it's 4th and 5th coming up.
Thank you. So Jennifer is our California chapter leader. We're seeing our people. Kind of share the preview with our audience, what we're hoping to bring, I guess, for these activities in terms of characters or whatever.
Superheroes? I will be covering the, Mark, you know how little sleep I've gotten the last 5 days. I know that. I will be covering the NICU event, and to me that means a lot because many years ago, back in 1999, I had a premature baby, and she spent 37 days in the NICU. Not at that NICU, but at a NICU. And so I jumped at that one also. It's on a Saturday, so I don't have to take time off work. But, and then my deputy commander, Alice, will be taking the beach day and cardiac reunions. Samantha will be joining the cardiac unit event. We will have superheroes because something changed for mine. That will be Katie. We're going to have superheroes. I don't have schedules memorized, but we will have superheroes. So my first answer was correct. But yes, I'm excited to go to the NICU reunion. We never had a NICU reunion that I'm aware of for Loma Linda. But Loma Linda has its own little things.
Right,
so,
because the only NICUs we've done so far is health.
I mean as a parent of a NICU baby, right. I don't mean as the Avengers Initiative, I'm saying as my experience as a NICU parent, that wasn't something that was offered to me back in 1999 or any time since my child is now 24 years old. Hey, come back, we'd love to have a celebration and see the doctors that saved my baby's life, She wasn't born there, she was taken there, so it's such a disconnecting experience when your child is born in one hospital and taken away from you. And I don't know that a superhero would have made me feel better, but I've seen what it does when we go in these places with, there's a family in there with a sick kid, whether it's an infant, a toddler, a teenager, it doesn't matter, there's just that moment of escape. And even I think in NICU reunion, when my daughter was 5, to go and just to be able to celebrate, look at these healthy kids, that would have meant a lot to me. So I'm very excited to support this event in a couple weeks, for sure.
Thank you so much for your heartfelt testimony. All right, I want to talk about, beyond service. We're a group of organized fans. How do we commune with others and share this fandom? So we put together these little fan shoots, and as someone who's done this for over 10 years, particularly WonderCon, when it started back, moved from Oakland to San Francisco, but now to Southern California, we've been pleasantly surprised. So this is our WonderCon fan shoot over at the Anaheim Convention Center for this year's WonderCon. With many Marvel fans, along with many members, along with our honorary member, Mr. Ron Lim. We had our fan shoot this morning for this year's San Diego Comic-Con International, where we had one of the service organizations we support is Magic Wheelchair, which is a service organization with kids who are in wheelchairs, and rather than making that a distraction, they get prop makers to make these fantastic vehicles that make them an attraction. So this recipient, my apologies, I'm not a Spider-Verse scholar. Basically, Spider-Man is what? So Penny Parker, she made the next Penny Parker, the family all dressed up as the various characters, and she gets to experience the convention as a participant. So we appreciate the chance to meet with fellow fans and share our passion for Marvel fandom. I mean, our participation has been so popular. Comic-Con uses our fan gatherings for promotional materials like the welcome packet, or even for the very final Comic-Con at home in preparation for Comic-Con special edition in November 2021. They used the last photo shoot that we had as the image background for that. Like even this year's WonderCon, I was kind of flipping out, oh, what's going on for the show and stuff like that. And like, oh wait, I recognize that, that's our fan shoot. Jennifer, Kevin, what's your impression of all these fun Marvel activities we can share with fellow fans? Kevin, we can start with you this time, because you organize stuff in Hawaii for conventions. Share with our audience what the Avengers Mid-Pacific, what shows you guys have out there and what you try and do as a group.
Well, the conventions in Hawaii aren't as big as the WonderCon and the San Diego Comic-Con. It's probably really scaled down, but we're at least able to get maybe 30 and sometimes 50 participants on a very, very good day. And it's overwhelming to see everybody come in and bring their characters to life. And, and that's also an area where you try to recruit to, if you see someone in a very nice costume and somebody who has a passion about it, then you talk to them about joining so that you can do events and what the meanings are behind the chapters that we have nationally, how we interact and things like that. So it's just you always look at everything as an opportunity to do stuff, and that's where it does come in for Hawaii. So that's just part of it right there. But it's so much fun to share the same passion that you have, that everybody else has in the same area.
Thank you. Jennifer, so us and our brethren in California, a lot of shows, particularly here in Southern California, we on the Comic-Con International family of shows, and a couple others. Can you share with our audience some of those, what we've been trying to do with those venues like Los Angeles Comic-Con or Comic-Con Comic Revolution?
Los Angeles Comic-Con, I don't know if I want to talk about that. So we have participated, we put together Marvel fan shoots for Los Angeles Comic-Con. We had a table at Los Angeles Comic-Con. We had a table at Los Angeles Comic-Con. I don't know that we'll do that going forward. It's a big con. It's a different con to this one and to WonderCon. I think WonderCon's probably my favorite convention in California. Comic-Con Revolution is in the Inland Empire. It's in Ontario. It's grown tremendously in the last 6 years. It's also half an hour from my house. So it's a con I enjoy having a table at personally. It's also sponsored by my employer, so that's fun for me because I will invariably see a coworker that I know, and possibly some I don't know, but now know me. And I had a fun time exhibiting at that one this year. We did actually make some good contacts. I actually made some good contacts in the marketing department at my company, which was also very cool. They were like, wait, you have a superhero group? Hold on, this could be useful for us, because the Inland Empire, where I come from, is a really kind of economically underserved area. It needs superheroes in every way, shape, and form it can find. One of our big issues is we're underserved in physicians. We don't have enough physicians to go around in the area. So, there's just a lot of help needed in that region. So it's important to me to bring in any smiles I can to that area. One thing we're looking at in helping build up our Northern California numbers, if you know any Avengers in Northern California, send them my way. I can give you our contact information right now on a badge ribbon. We are going to be at Fan Expo in San Francisco over Thanksgiving weekend. I'm looking for smaller, more local boots on the ground. This is a great con, don't get me wrong. It's a little hard for recruiting because people are coming from everywhere, but we want to grow around the country, right? Not just California. Hawaii, of course, they want to grow where they are at. They want to help us grow around the country too. Because there is not one place in the country where there isn't somewhere that a kid needs to be cheered up, where there isn't somewhere that someone needs a hero. So to me, it isn't necessarily about the LA Comic-Cons or the Comic-Con revolutions. It is, but it's about the bigger picture too. So what can I use that as a springboard to spread the word about the Avengers Initiative, the West Coast Avengers, the Lone Star Avengers, the Avengers Mid-Pacific, to let everyone know that no matter where you are, you can also do this. And pictures like that, if we can do that here, everyone's busy at Comic-Con. We got all those people together on a Saturday morning at Comic-Con. They can do that anywhere.
Avengers assemble. So, as many of us are aware, one of the things that's brought Marvel to the forefront has been movies and enjoying it, with fellow fans on a big screen. I've brought in some speakers who've invited us and welcomed us to their venue to kind of share, reflect on celebrating the Marvel Cinematic Universe within. I'd like to first begin with our first speaker, Kimberly. You invited us out to your venue, the El Dorado's Regal. Why did you seek us out back in the day?
So you and I met, it was kind of funny. I was managing a Northern California theater, and we were fundraising for our Stars of Hope Children's Charities, which is an alliance of charities for Make-A-Wish. It includes Variety, it includes Boys and Girls Club. It's basically anything that has an event that's focused on children. And we were fundraising, and a little tiny independent feature called The Avengers was coming out. So I was like, this is a good movie to focus the fundraiser around. And I didn't have any idea what to do. And a friend of mine said, I know a guy with a War Machine outfit. And I was like, we need him. And it was kind of an on your left moment, because we didn't just end up with a War Machine. We ended up with a War Machine and a Nick Fury and a Black Widow and just all the Avengers coming out and, delighting our guests, interacting with them in a meaningful way, taking pictures and staying in character and just bringing a magical moment to them. And it enabled us to have a really, really successful fundraiser. And it's just great what you guys do. It's so great.
So, because this was the first big Team Avengers movie, we appreciate being able to convince our member, Mr. Ron Lim, artist, to draw some sketches. How did they go with you guys' management team to have that happen?
When Nick Fury says you're part of a bigger universe, it was kind of like that for me, where I wasn't really into comics that much. I liked the Marvel movies, I liked Iron Man and everything, but then you were like, oh yeah, I can probably get a guy to come out and do sketches for donations. And I was like, that's so great, because I didn't know anything about comics or cosplayers really at that time. So, it was like a bigger universe opened up where it's like, oh, all of these outlets can be great use of fundraising, of bringing people together for a common cause, and it's really, really worked out.
Well, thank you. So, when you saw this house, I guess, what were you expecting? And then when you saw us face to face, what was your impression when you saw us in action?
Well, I think, there might be a misconception, when people hear cosplay, that don't really come to these conventions, the pedestrian people who don't know. They're like, oh, someone in a makeshift, slapped together duct tape suit where they'll show up. But you guys are do so much research. Jennifer, you said like someone showed up at a premiere that, you know, you were wearing the same outfit, but it wasn't the same outfit at all. Like you guys have attention to detail, you know, because you love these characters, you know. You don't want to, since their children are aging, you don't want to tap pass it. They're like, basically very professional, very put together, you know, and polite, you know, working with people, not, you know, like, oh, just stay away from me or anything, or being intimidating, being, you know, like, come take a picture with me, come, you know, interact with me, you know, very inviting.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. So for myself, I did fully reside in Northern California. When I moved down here, I wanted to figure out where can we go to hopefully carry on sharing this experience. And fortunately, a friend of mine who's part of our group says, hey, why don't you talk to this gentleman out in Long Beach. He's the general manager for that Cinemark in there. And John, when I sat down to talk to you, what did you initially think we were, and what, to be honest, what convinced you to finally give us a shot and hopefully entertain your patrons as these new MCU films have come out?
Well, the first thing I thought of was, well, you know how to host them, because I'm part of the 501st. And the first thing I always think about is like, hey, we have a changing room, do we provide water? And these are things that you have to think about logistically, right, if you invite these groups. It's like, hey, what do they have? And of course, being in the 501st, the first thing I thought, are they screen accurate? Because do they have a CRL? Do they have a standards in their costume? Is that going to look real? Is it going to look legit? You know, because as you guys know, in the 501st, they have standards and stuff, and people have opinions about our standards. But I'm telling you, when I saw their stuff, it's pretty cool. It's pretty legit. I mean, for me, I'm a big comic book and Marvel fan anyway, right? And of course, seeing Mark's War Machine, I'm like, that's pretty legit. You know, I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, it's like, and plus, it's great for our audience, right? She was talking about earlier about Barbie. And I really should be at work right now because we're getting slammed with Barbie right now. I have 25 shows and every show is sold out. So today, and Oppenheimer, of course, sold out too. So I feel bad for them, I don't. But I think it's great for, you know, the audience to be able to, people watching movies and see the Avengers. It's kind of cool to see that. And even my employees, I have an employee, she loves Loki. She's always, is Loki going to be there? She's Loki, she always says, oh no, Loki's going to be there. Okay? She's always about, there's more characters than Loki, you know, but I know it's Loki going to be there, you know, but for us, it's such a great thing for our audience. You know, most people can't go to the parks, right? They can't afford to go to the parks. When they see a character, they're like, oh my God, this is cool, I get to see this. Even adults, like, can I get a picture, can I get a selfie, right? And it's so fun for everybody to be able to do this, and for the kids, you know, and I mean, I eat that stuff up. I mean, cosplayers, you know, come on in, let's go do this. And, or Chantel, I'm John, by the way, I'm getting the emails, because the 501st is going to be at Miller's at the end of the month. You know, so to me, I'm like, you got a baby, so you're good. But to me, it's such a, to be able to do all this stuff, the Avengers group, and then just cosplay in general, I think it's so welcoming. Because people, when you do it, people will tell you, hey, you don't look like the character, you know, you're not maybe the same age, right, maybe, but I tell people, you do you, boo-boo. You know, I think you look great, you know what I mean? So I think if you do your characters and own up to it, you know, be like legitimate, be that character, right? And not think like, oh, and the great thing about the Avengers Initiative, and a lot of cosplay groups, we're welcoming, right? And say, hey, come on in, we love your costume, come join us. Plus, it's a camaraderie, that's a fun part too, right? You get to hang out with fellow nerds, right? I mean, let's be real. You know, to me, I'm like, that's the best part of it, right? Having fun.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your invitation, your warm hospitality, and sharing that with the residents of Long Beach. We appreciate that. So that being said, I'd like to open to you, the audience, for any questions you may have, whether it be who we are as a group, the activities we do, whether it be service, conventions, or, you know, just sharing the fandom, like at not only conventions, but at movie theaters. Anyone have any questions for us? Sir?
Does it matter how many different Captain Americas, or like, does that have a finite number, or?
Okay, so the question was if I heard you correctly, does it matter how many people have the same outfit, basically, is that correct? Okay, like I know in Southern California alone, we have simply a lot. But I'll just be honest, just because of people's schedules, it's difficult. So, and I used to be a lead in other fan groups too. At least personally what I've done, whether it be the Avengers Initiative or other groups, and I think my peers kind of do the same thing, and definitely share how you're checking it now. So what we do is a sign-up sheet. We say, hey, here's an event, if you want to sign up, do it. Please list the outfits that that you want to hopefully contribute to this. We'll take the list back to our event hosts, whether it be Shriners, Miller, or Regal, or Cinemark, like, hey, here are people who want to show up, do these outfits fit your need? And then we'll discuss it as officers, once we get our feedback from our event hosts and kind of go from there. But Jennifer, do you have anything you guys want to add? And with the California, Hawaii, how you guys tackle stuff?
You never have too many Captain Americas, in my opinion. How many Doctor Strange do we have now? Like 10? It's awesome. The more the merrier, because not everybody's going to be able to do every event. There's a multiverse now. It's fine. We'll take them all. No, we, not for every event, obviously. We don't duplicate at events. But as far as like for the membership, no, we don't have like, oh no, we already have one of those. Not like that. And for events, yes, for logistical purposes, but some events, like when we go to Miller, we're going to be limited to 2 cosplayers because it's just the nature of the events. Some bring everybody, we went to, what did we do? Oh, the Ronald McDonald House, we had like 17 people. That was a party. Let me tell you, that was a great time. So no, we're not limited to how many people we can have. We can have as many Captain Americas in the group. I think we have like 5 Captain Carters now. We have Scarlet Witches coming out our ears, and it's great. Because if Sam can't do it, then I don't know if he has her. The one she doesn't have. Okay, so Spider-Gwen then. We've got Spider-Gwen. If I can't get Alice to do Spider-Gwen, I know I have somebody who can do Spider-Gwen. If I can't show up as Peggy, I've got a Peggy in the back. It's good. We're good to go. So we don't have limits on that. We don't have a strict CRL. We do want a good, I've got 3 of my cosplayers right here up front. You can see what we look for in a costume. I want people who are going to walk in that kid's room and it's believable to the kid that a superhero just walked in their room. It's not you went to Walmart, got a $30 costume. It's a believable costume. It doesn't have to be screen accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't care what color thread you used. I don't care what kind of snap you used. It doesn't matter. It fits you, it looks good, you look the part. You don't have to have the accent, nothing like that. We just want people who love the character, who the character means something to them, because you're going to be able to express that to that kid when they ask you the most random, weird questions in the world. So that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. Our process is you fill out an application, we get the application, and there's a brief interview. It's like a 15 to 30-minute interview with our membership panel and a little probationary period where within the first 3 months we want you to do one event where either myself or Alice is in attendance and we evaluate your performance at that event, like how you interact with the other members that are there, how you interact with the service contacts, how you interact with the kids or families that are at whatever event it happens to be. And then we evaluate if, hey, is this person a good fit for us? Were they a good fit at the event? How did it go? And then we make our decision. So that is our process currently for bringing people onto the team. And then as far as picking the event, or picking people for the event, it's what are the needs of our service partners. And I'll ask in the form for them to fill out for having us come out to an event, who are the characters you would like to have there so we can request that when we put the event up for our members too. Which is, ask that question right out the gate is the best way to go. A lot of people have lately, for some reason, want Thanos. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, it's mostly because I've had almost run close to 5 first, and then
So each group is different. So you got to remember, like I've been a Funko First member for over 20 years. That has its basis in cinema, live action. I've been a comic fan since before I could read, and I've been lucky enough to know like the art, many artists. Marvel started off on paper. So even while it's popular right now is in the movies, like what Jennifer said, we try to just bring to life this character, whether it be not only service, but you know, our media partners, or even a comic book shop we do free comic book day. The idea is we try and have a character that fits, you know, what the request is. But Kevin, you want to add anything onto that? I think you guys do.
Well, it's a very similar policy that it doesn't matter what costume you have, you know, if we could have 5, 10 different Captain Americas and that would be fine, or even different versions of Captain America, that would be fine. But when you're coming to the events, again, that's, again, the very similar thing where we try to, on our end, we try to put out a list of who's available and what character do you think you'll be playing. And then from that list, you know, the ones that responded earlier would generally have first picks on it. And you can see, okay, someone already has Captain America, but I have another costume too, so I think I'll go as another person. So that's the kind of things that we do on our end. It's a little similar. And if we see someone with a very, very nice costume, and they're not in the Avengers Mid-Pacific yet, we might even invite them to an event as a guest cosplayer to come in, to see how we operate, to see what we do and what our philosophies are. And if that's agreeable with them, they might want to be part of the Avengers Mid-Pacific.
Thank you. Go ahead.
We do also rotate, so I keep track of who wears what at what. I like spreadsheets. So we do keep track. Nobody in our group owns a character, so nobody is like, I'm the Black Widow of this group, or I'm the this and that. We don't let that kind of ego thing happen. We make sure that everybody gets a chance to wear whatever costumes they have if they want to wear it. Sometimes I have to tell people, you're going to wear this time because you've wanted to wear this for how many months now and not gotten the chance to. So not that that's ever happened in our group, but yeah, so we make sure we keep it fair and we rotate just by kind of saying, hey, you know, you've worn this a couple times already, we're going to let somebody else have a chance. Why don't you wear this? You have a really great Scarlet Witch. Wear your Scarlet Witch and we're going to let somebody else wear Black Widow this time. So we kind of keep it fair that way too. I'm like, I'll just wear jeans and a t-shirt and wrangle everybody. You guys wear the costume.
But that's about it. So we'll respect our next group of panels. If you have any questions outside, please feel free to talk to any of us, not only as Avengers Initiative members, but any of our event hosts. Then I can have my panelists stay behind them, take a quick group picture. For those of you who come to our panel, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con experience.
My name is Anthony Wills. I am the Pediatric Service Liaison for the West Coast Avengers in Northern California.
When did you fall in love with comic books, and why do you like them so much?
Well, I fell in love with comic books as a child. I liked them so much because it was a ways of escaping, and the stories were very interesting and were compelling, and it was just a moment where I could just block out all the things from school, everything that was happening at home, and just focus on something that was kind of fantastical.
And how did you get into cosplay?
Well, I kind of got into cosplay because I wanted to actually do community service, and I was with one of my friends who went to a panel that was focusing on doing community service and cosplay, and thought that might be a great vehicle for being able to serve my community.
How did you find Avengers Initiative, and why did you want to be part of Avengers Initiative?
I found the Avengers Initiative through a set of friends who were already part of the Avengers Initiative. I was a part of another club at the time, and I was already doing Marvel-type costumes, and he said that this would be a good opportunity to be able to branch out a little bit more in terms of what I was doing in terms of community service.
And tell me more. Tell me why the Avengers Initiative is such a unique organization.
Well, I think the Avengers Initiative is a unique organization because of one, it's a smaller organization, so it's much more intimate in terms of who, the numbers of people that are involved in the club itself. And one, it's a lot of face characters too, so there aren't a whole bunch of characters that are exactly the same. You are always participating as one unique character for whatever event that you're doing.
And talk more about just what they do, where they go, especially about the hospital visits. Just tell me what the unique visits that you guys do.
There's a lot of unique visits that the Avengers Initiative will actually do. They do everything from hospital visits to actually going out and doing parades, doing other community service events such as fundraisers. They actually participate in a lot of national events such as Free Comic Book Day as well. So there's a wide variety of events that the Avengers Initiative actually participates in.
And what are your favorite events?
My favorite events are the hospital visits. It's a chance to really get in close and intimate with children, be able to hopefully brighten their day, brighten their family's day, put a smile on their faces, and just bring a little bit more joy to the world.
Tell Marvel cosplayers why they should get involved in Avengers Initiative.
Marvel cosplayers should get involved in the Avengers Initiative because it's a natural extension of what you're already doing. You already have your costume. You're already going out in public and participating in cons and interacting with the public. This is just a different way to be able to do it, and it's a way to pay things forward at the same time. So you're able to go out in your costume, provide a lot of happiness and joy and laughs to people who are in desperate need of them and aren't able to necessarily get to the venues that you usually will frequent.
Anything else you want to talk about the Avengers Initiative?
The last thing I would probably say about the Avengers Initiative is that it's definitely a very special group to be a part of. The people who are involved are very committed to servicing their communities. They have a passion for trying to bring just a little bit more light to the world.
Name is Kevin Nagata, or otherwise known as Kato Trooper on Facebook, and I am the HXO, the head executive officer of Avengers Initiative.
So tell me about how you fell in love with comic books.
I'm not much into comic books. I was more into toys, and from the toys, especially something like this, when I saw this, I was amazed at it, and then my friend Jamie Baird made this, and I was just so impressed. So he finally got this to me, and I was more than happy. It was amazing. I just love this costume.
And tell me more how you got into cosplay.
Getting into cosplay was a pretty easy shoe-in because I always loved Halloween. So I loved dressing up in costume. And when I found out that there were organizations and groups that did this on a on a charity basis, and it was just so amazing that I just thought I'd jump into that.
Tell me how you got involved in the Avengers Initiative.
I got into Avengers Initiative because Mark Chu-Lin asked me to open up a chapter in Hawaii. So I did that, and from there it branched out where nationwide there were groups in Texas and the East Coast and the West Coast, and it was really something to look at. From there, we just expanded doing charity work.
And tell me about the charity work that the Avengers Initiative does.
Avengers Initiative on a national level does charity work with hospitals, but on a local level, like I'm from Hawaii, we're Avengers Mid-Pacific. And what happens there is that we've done things with Make-A-Wish Foundation, Shriners, several of the hospitals. We've done it with Children's Hospital and Hawaii Children and Youth Day, which is what I'm a chairman of right there, to bring cosplay to the children of Hawaii.
And tell me why you like the Avengers Initiative.
I like the Avengers Initiative because of the organizations that happen and the charities that go along with it. From just attending many of the volunteer events, it just gives a feeling of satisfaction when you see a kid smile because you're in costume, and it just has a special meaning to them.
And tell people why, if you're into cosplay, why you should get involved with the Avengers Initiative.
Well, if you have a Marvel costume, you should think about Avengers Initiative because of the opportunities that lie in different conventions and charity work that is available. So if you want to get active in the community, Avengers Initiative is a great start, and all you need is a Marvel costume. To get involved with Avengers Initiative, you could look it up on the Facebook under Avengers Initiative, and you would find a scan code that would be able to show you how to get in.
So first, tell me when you fell in love with comic books.
Actually, I've just gotten into comic books. I started reading comic books in the last 2 years, but I have loved superhero movies for a long time, and they have led me into comics to find out the origins of those stories.
How did you get involved in cosplay?
I got involved in cosplay. Originally, I cosplayed back in 1996 or so at an X-Files convention, and then I started having a family, and time and things like that got in the way. So my daughter, when she was 10 or 12, wanted to start cosplaying, and I decided to pick it back up.
Tell me when you found out about Avengers Initiative, and why did you want to be part of it?
I found out about the Avengers Initiative through a friend of mine I had met we cosplayed a mutual character, and I really liked what she was telling me about the service aspect of it. It had never occurred to me that you could do that kind of service in your costume. I thought it was just dress up, go have fun at conventions, so that gave it a whole new dimension for me, and I really enjoyed being able to give back that way.
Tell me more about what the Avengers Initiative does.
So the Avengers Initiative is a community service group, and we do just that, all sorts of community service. We do pediatric inpatient visits. We participate with hospitals and other medical facilities that do outside events for siblings and the family members who also need kind of relief from their day-to-day when they have a kid that's in the hospital. Additionally, things like Ronald McDonald House, we will go visit there. We've worked with comic book shops for Free Comic Book Day, providing atmosphere for different events and signings that they may have.
Tell me why you just enjoy being involved in this organization.
I enjoy being involved in this organization because when my daughter was born, she was in the hospital. And I know a preemie wouldn't get much out of a superhero visit, nor would a parent of a preemie necessarily, but to see that I could bring some happiness to people that were in the situation I had been in. She was in the hospital for over a month when she was born. That really spoke to my heart to go out and make a difference and just bring a smile to someone's face who doesn't have a lot of opportunity or reason to smile.
And tell people why other Marvel cosplayers should get involved with this organization.
There's no feeling in the world like being able to do a visit with some kids who don't have a lot to smile about and go in their room and their faces light up when they see the characters. It's fantastic, and it really warms your heart. It's a good reason to have all these fantastic costumes. You know, yeah, we put them on and we come to cons and we have a lot of fun, we do photo shoots, but you can do more with that and just take a few minutes out of your day and go brighten someone else's.
And tell people how they can get involved with the Avengers Initiative.
You can reach out to the Avengers Initiative through our Instagram or our Facebook. You can find us, we have different chapters throughout the country. So Look up Avengers Initiative on Facebook and that'll put you in contact with us. Avengers Initiative, assemble.
Hello, my name is Xavier Garcia, and I'm the event manager for the Inland Empire Ronald McDonald House charity. The Ronald McDonald House provides comfort and care to families and children in Southern California.
And tell me how you found the Avengers Initiative and why did you want to use it?
The Avengers Initiative is an amazing group that will visit the Ronald McDonald House at our events and will provide smiles to all the kids that come. The Avengers Initiative has been so helpful in helping us with our mission and providing comfort and care to the families and children that we serve. When they are at our events, they are so happy and they are just want to take pictures with all the superheroes and be around them and have fun. And so it's very impactful when the Avengers Initiative come to the Ronald McDonald House events, because they are just so amazing to be around and they just are a bright light and are very helpful in just helping these children get their mind off things, you know, and not thinking about their brother or sister that's in the hospital across the street. Instead, they're playing with Iron Man or Spider-Man or Captain America and just laughing, smiling, having fun, and not thinking about, you know, what's happening across the street at the hospital. So it's incredibly helpful for the Avengers Initiative to continue to support the Ronald McDonald House.
And can you talk about the 2 or 3 main events that they help the most with?
Sure. Our annual Walk for Kids has over 2,000 participants that will come to Fontana Park in California. And it's a day where we all can get out of the house and stretch our legs and walk freely in a 1 to 3 mile event as superheroes. So we all get to dress up and we invite the Avengers Initiative to come lead the charge. And that's exactly what they do. Their presence is so big and it's so impactful for them to be there and for all the kids and all the participants of the Walk for Kids to kind of be around them and to all feel like a superhero themselves and to be able to take pictures with them and to walk with them and to walk for a cause. And also our Christmas in July is also an annual event that we have. And Santa Claus will show up and he does bring his helpers, and his helpers are the Avengers Initiative. And to have them at Christmas in July is absolutely amazing. It's a beautiful day with a toy drive for the kids and music. We have a DJ that comes. We play games like cornhole and just do a lot of fun things with superheroes. And again, it's a day for our families and kids to just laugh and smile and just have joy and to not think about their brother or sister that's in the hospital across the street. It's just a day to just be happy.
Anything about the Avengers Initiative you want to add on to that?
We couldn't do what we do without people like you, without the Avengers, being there to help us with our mission and providing comfort and care to the families and children of Southern California. Thank you so much.
So my name is Arthur Noche. I'm a child life specialist for Miller Children's Women's Hospital in Long Beach. What we do is kind of normalize the environment for the kids. So working with Avengers Initiative is definitely a plus, especially when we run our special programs and events for all of our patients, kids, just to feel like they're not in the hospital and they're not stuck there. And like, hospital's a really scary place. So, being able to see like superheroes and like Star Wars people, like Star Wars characters, like it's always a good experience for them to be able to do that.
So tell me, where you found Avengers Initiative and why are they such a unique group?
So it's really embarrassing, but I found them on Google. We needed like a group of cosplayers and characters to show up at one of our super siblings events to to visit the siblings and kind of make them feel like they're loved and they're getting attention too when they haven't been getting the attention they need, especially with their brother or sister in the hospital. So I did a quick Google search and like they were the first ones that I found that I felt like connected with. They were so nice. Their response time was literally like within an hour and everything. They were the ones that never charged, So I remember being embarrassed because I had to ask. I was like, "How much is this going to be?" And they're like, "Oh, we do this for free." There are a lot of like other characters and cosplay programs that they'll charge money for it, and I'm like, so then I remember talking to Mark, and I was asking him, I was like, "How much is this going to be?" He was like, "No, it's free. Like, you're doing us a favor, and that's what made them feel unique to me. Like, they were in it for, just to make people's days. They weren't in it to make money or anything like that. It was what my department does. We do it for for the kids and seeing the smiles on their faces and for their families as well.
Talk about the events that they participate with you.
So I could name 3 right now. We did the Super Siblings events, which was for past and present patients' families and siblings that they could hang out and kind of get all the attention for once. And they loved it. That was the first time I reached out to Mark. They made it really easy. They brought 5 or 6 different cosplayers, and they were great with the kids. We also did a May the 4th as well, but that was during COVID, so we had to actually film like a show for the kids to watch on their TVs in the hospital and kind of feel connected to all the characters, the Star Wars characters, whether it was Luke or stormtroopers or Darth Vader or anything. And then our last one is our beach day, which is when kids actually get to leave their rooms and all meet up in like an auditorium in our hospital, and we have different booths there that they could see. And then we did have Captain Marvel there last year. Our next one is actually in August. I don't know if I'm sure Mark's going to be showing up with some cosplayers for that day too. But Beach Day is a really great day for our department and everything.
And just go over again why their association is so unique.
They're so unique because they're so easy to talk to. Sometimes I talk to people trying to get them to volunteer, and they're like, it's a business, and as much as a business this is, and the Avengers Initiative are, they also are very down to earth and easy to talk with and easy to plan everything with. They know what the hospital kind of expects from them. They make my job easier because I'm the one who kind of handles the groups whenever they come in to visit the kids. So they make my job easy because they already know what to expect.
Tell me, what would you tell other hospitals? This is why you should use the Avengers Initiative.
I would choose the Avengers Initiative over any other program for our hospital because they make it so easy on hospital staff, on the healthcare team. They know about the HIPAA violations. They know not to ask the kids certain questions about what diagnosis they have, because that stuff is really private, and it makes my job a lot easier to just let them be and let them meet the kids and make the patients and families just smile for a day, because the hospital is a really scary setting, and just seeing somebody they're familiar with, whether it's Iron Man or Captain America or even stormtroopers, they love it when they see something out of the ordinary,
I saw the cover to Iron Man number 200, and I saw the Mark Bright, Bob Layton drawing of the Silver Centurion Iron Man fighting Ironmonger, and I just it wowed me. From that point on, I was hooked. I was a Marvel reader.
For me, don't know what grade I was in, but my parents brought home, I used to read all the Archie comics stuff growing up, and then one day my parents brought home Fantastic Four 121 with the Nihilist, and I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, this is not Archie-like. And so I was like, yeah, once I saw that comic, I was like, man, this is a whole nother world. And after that, I stopped reading Archies and just bought all the Marvel books and stuff like that, yeah.
Tell me how, not only comic books are entertaining, but how they're helpful for society or for kids.
How comics are helpful to society?
And to just kids.
And to kids? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, for me, I would say, because I have 2 kids, and my son in particular, who's 9 years old, he grew up watching the MCU. Not so much reading comic books yet, but his exposure is through the movies, through the TV shows, animation, and I see how much he loves these characters, and I think even though they're fighting all the time, and he's always play fighting, so you're always in the early ages kind of concerned, like, wait, are they going to turn violent? But not at all, right? It's more the messages, like characters like Captain America and Iron Man and all these characters, Captain Marvel, like, fighting for good, all the things that they fight for. I see the influence that it's having on him and his passion and desire to, of course, for the action and fighting, but also just the messages that they kind of portray in those movies, I would say.
No, yeah. I mean, back before the movies, right, the comics were all we had, right? So the kids, like me, I grew up learning a lot of these values through reading the comics. So that was super important. But I think with the movies now, this is massive. Everyone knows the characters now. Everyone knows the comics. I think the influence over everybody's just multiplied so much. So yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think all that stuff just wrapped together is just incredible. Yeah.
Tell me why you love cosplayers.
I love cosplayers because I'm all about passion. Like my whole career, ever since I was a kid, I loved art. I followed my passion. My whole career has been following my passion. It's what I tell my kids, what I tell young students, young artists who are trying to get into the industry, whatever industry, is following your passion and what you love. And I recognize it when I see passion. So when I meet cosplayers, and I've met and got to know so many of them through the years, I see them all the time at the Marvel premieres, and they're amazing. Their passion for the characters, for the craft. I see so many costumes where I'm like, oh my gosh, because I work with the real costumes for the movies, so I know what they look like, and a lot of these I'm like, it's kind of similar, as far as the quality, because they're getting better and better with 3D printing and everything. So for me, it's all about the passion, and I love to see that they all have that.
Totally. What Andy said, but also, it's just amazing to see these people, all these cosplayers make all these costumes from scratch. And then to able to see our characters that we design, like in actual real life, is pretty amazing. I just love seeing them, like, all here.
Yep.
When did you hear about the Avengers Initiative, and why do you think it's such a unique organization?
I think I met Mark. I heard about the Avengers Initiative by meeting Mark, I think here at Comic-Con. I don't remember which year it was, but he introduced himself to me, that he runs this organization of cosplayers and they do a lot of charity work. He's invited me several years to the annual photo shoot with all the Marvel cosplayers. So I've gotten to know Mark through the years. He's amazing, and I see him and his group all the time at the Marvel Studios premieres. So that's how I first heard about it.
I knew Mark when he was like 12 or something.
Wow.
I knew his dad, right?
Oh, okay.
So I met him way back then before he started any of this. And so seeing him grow till now with all this stuff is amazing. So yeah. So whenever he asks, to do service or whatever for the different events and stuff, I'm always happy to do that.
And tell me what you think about, they do a lot of things, but one of their main things is they go into the hospital.
Yeah.
Tell me just why that's special for the kids and why it's special to the Marvel organization.
For me, going there is special because those kids, they're already having a hard time as it is, and so it's really cool to be able to go there and kind of teach them what's going on and entertain them and then brighten their day a little bit. I think it makes a huge difference. I think.
That's cool. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to go to any of the hospitals yet, but that's something that I look forward to doing with Mark and the Avengers Initiative and with Ron.
Anything else you want to mention about cosplay or the organization, or just about Mark?
Oh yeah, as long as I've known him, he's been into this, and it's everything he does. constantly, he's like trying to find ways to help other organizations and just pushing the whole Avengers Initiative. It's amazing. Yeah,
and I'm slowly learning more and more about what Mark does. I I love the cosplayers and what they do, and for him to create this organization really with just a deeper passion, not just for the characters, but to kind of do what superheroes do, right? Create a better world, and that's what he's doing, so I have a lot of respect for Mark.